Hello and welcome to StratiGG, where we like to geek out, spread fun, love and snuggles in strategy games and more. I am Snuggliona and today we are going to take a look at the newly released Risk Global Domination Basic Training Tutorial Package. Risk version 3.12 is here, and along with it, we have these new tutorials. So following on from our last video, where I covered the absolute bare bones basics that you guys need to get into the game as soon as possible, we are going to check out the game's built-in basics, otherwise known as basic training. So to access the basic training, you simply need to go to the battle menu, and it will be the option on the far left hand side. So let's get stuck right in there. So, as I covered in the last video, each player has a turn per round, and each player's turn consists of 3 phases. The first phase of that being the draft phase. Let's see what the basic training has to teach us about the draft phase. Every turn has 3 phases: draft, attack, and fortify. Scroll or double click to zoom in. Always handy to know. You can drag the map around. Yeah, this is all the very, very basic stuff. You can choose how many troops you want to place. And it looks like it is that simple and that basic for the draft basic training stage 1. Let's check out basic training number 2. The Blitz dice roll. How to use your troops to attack other players. In the attack phase, which again is the second phase of a player's turn, following on from the draft phase in which we place our troops, we enter the attack phase. To initiate attack, you click on the territory you want to attack from. Then you select the territory that you want to attack. It then brings up the dice screen, where you can see how many troops you have in the attacking territory and the opponent's number of total troops defending. So yeah, they are going over pretty much all the extremely basic things that I covered in my previous video. And again, you just click the dice to initiate the attack. And that is a blitz roll. It is an automatic way of doing the attack. Now you can switch from blitz rolls to manual rolls, which shows an animation of the dice actually rolling against your opponents. But maybe we'll get into that as we go on forward. Defeating a player allows you to capture the player's cards. After your attack, you can then choose how many troops you want to move across. The minimum amount of troops that you can move across will be dependent on how many dice you chose to roll. But again, that is getting into the more complex aspects of the game. So we'll save that for a later time. For now, we're just going to move everything over. And it looks like we are ending the attack phase. And there we go. That seems to be basic training number 2 completed. Just showing you how to attack there. And the very basics of the Blitz dice rolls. Number 3 is conquering continents. So we're starting off again in the attack phase. It looks like we're picking up where we left off. You can hit this button on the left to show the continents. I did cover this in my last video. Another quick tip. The default key to bring up this screen automatically is the C key on your keyboard on PC. It saves you having to go through this little menu. And as I covered briefly in one of the previous videos, each continent gives a certain amount of bonus troops at the beginning of your turn in the draft phase if you manage to hold that continent at the beginning of your turn. So it looks like the tutorial wants us to capture this whole continent. So we select the territory we want to attack from. We select the territory that we are attacking. And then we just initiate another Blitz dice roll. You can tell it's the Blitz dice roll because it says Blitz at the bottom and the dice are flashing. And we're just going to move all our troops over. We're going to end the attack phase. And there we go, guys. We have just learned about continents, otherwise known as bonuses. And so we head on into basic training number 4. Here we're starting off in the fortify phase. So, as we previously covered, each player's turn consists of 3 phases, 1 being the draft phase, 2 being the attack phase, and then the phase that we're looking at here, phase number 3, which is the fortify phase. In the fortify phase, you can select a territory to move some troops to another territory, as long as those territories are connected. So it looks like we are going to fortify some troops from Draftville by selecting it, and we're going to move it over to Fort Dale by then clicking that territory. It is handy to note that if you click the wrong territory or you change your mind before you complete it, you can just click anywhere else on the map. It seems like it's locked in though on this. So we select there, and if we just click out, it should cancel it. No, yeah, it is locked in the tutorial, but in the actual game, if you are mid-fortify like this, you can just click outside of here and it will cancel it for you. So if you accidentally select the wrong territory, you can just click off and then redo it. So again, once you've selected the territory you want to fortify to, you can choose how many troops to send over, and we're just going to send all of them. And as long as you've made an attack and taken a territory, as we've covered in the previous video, you will receive a card at the end of your turn. And there we have it. That is what basic training has to teach us about the Fortify phase. Basic training number 5. Territory card trading. Turn in your territory cards during your turn for bonus troops. That is correct. So as I covered in my previous video, in the draft phase, if you have a set of cards eligible to be traded in, you can select the card button down at the bottom left, and then you can trade in a set of cards. You do this by selecting which cards to trade in. There are 3 types of territory cards: artillery, cavalry, and infantry, with a 4th bonus type of card called the wild card, sometimes called a joker by some players, which can be traded in as any one of the other types of cards. There are 3 types of There are 2 types of sets of cards that you can make. You can either have 3 of one type of card, or you can have 1 of each type of cards. This represents a set of cards. As you can see, we have an infantry, a cavalry, and an artillery. And you can see over on the right hand side the bonus key, which will tell you how much that set of cards is going to trade you in for. So in fixed cards, which is a game mode setting that you can select, trading in 3 infantry cards will get you 4 bonus troops. Trading in 3 cavalry cards will get you 6 bonus troops. Trading in 3 artillery, 8 bonus troops. And if you are lucky enough to get a set of cards with 1 infantry, 1 cavalry, and 1 artillery, you will get 10 bonus troops. This only applies in the fixed cards setting, however. Something to bear in mind and to take note of for future. In addition to the standard number of bonus troops you can get, if you hold the territory that the card represents, you will also gain an additional +2 troops on that territory when you trade in this set of cards. So you won't be able to choose where to place those extra troops. They will just automatically appear on that territory. So we should see this now as we trade in. And yes, as you can see, we have received our 10 bonus troops from trading in the set of cards. And here on the Draftville, we have automatically received the +2 extra bonus troops because we traded in that territory's card in the set. So the tutorial wants us to place all our troops over here. And it is important to note that you can only trade in a set of cards in the draft phase at the start of your turn, unless, and this is very important to keep in mind, if you eliminate a player in a game, you take their cards, and the maximum number of cards you can hold at one time is 5. So if by killing an opponent, that takes the amount of cards you hold to 5 or more, the game will automatically force a card trade, give you those bonus troops in your current turn, and then allow you to continue that turn with a bit of extra time as well. So in this way, you can chain multiple kills in a game. I'm sure we'll cover more on that in future videos. And finally, basic training number 6 is gonna cover manual dice rolling. So in the attack phase, you choose a territory to attack from. You then click a territory to attack, and it brings up the dice screen. As you can see, we are currently automatically on the blitz option, and the dice are glowing. However, there are these 2 arrows either side, which allows you to select how many dice or how many troops you want to send into any single attack. So if we move it to 3, this will roll 3 dice, representing us risking 3 troops in this single attack. As you saw there, the enemy, the territory being attacked, can only ever defend with a maximum of 2 dice or 2 troops, which gives an advantage to the attacker, because the attacker can roll a maximum of 3 dice or 3 troops if they choose. And in the attack, the attacker's 2 highest dice will go against the defender's 2 dice. This is known as the attacker's advantage because you have a slightly higher probability of being successful simply because of that 3 dice versus 2 when you attack. Something to bear in mind for the future, and something that will be discussed more as we go through further tutorial videos in the future. And that is the basic training offered in Risk Global Domination. It is extremely bare bones basic information. As you could tell, I also filled in a few blanks that were still missing. But hopefully you found this quick review of the basic training helpful. And look out for further tutorial videos from myself. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the content, why not hit the subscribe and like buttons so that you don't miss out on future content. See you next time for some more fun, love and snuggles in our never-ending quest for the GG.